What's up everyone, King Grab's back again today, and today we are playing some Mono Ice. So I do apologise, it's been a few weeks since I've uploaded a Monotype showcase, and I had no video last week at all, just very busy at the time. If you're watching this at the time of upload, I hope you had a fantastic and safe holiday season, wherever you do celebrate. If you're watching this at a later date, I hope you're keeping well. So Mono Ice is personally one of my favorite types. I think design-wise and just thematically it's very cool, but to play it can be very frustrating. I liked it a lot in Generation 8, but I do not believe it got much in the transition to NatDex. It got access to Z crystals, which I personally don't really like using on the team. I think items like heavy duty boots are so important and choice items to make sure this thing has all the firepower it can get. It got, I think, Dugong and Carbonable, who are not worth really mentioning, and unfortunately got two very underwhelming megas in Glalie and Abomasnow. Now, I will say Glalie probably could have been good if I could use Moody, but Moody is banned in the NatDex, so unfortunately I will not be using Glalie. And with that, let's jump and go into the team. So first up we have Darmanitan Galar, and there's no really reason to explain too much why I used Darmanitan Galar. This thing is stupid powerful. Guerrilla Tactics is essentially a built-in choice band, and while often people will go for a choice Scarf Darmanitan, I decided to go for choice band to make this thing a ridiculously powerful wall breaker. Now it is locked into only one move, but thanks to my stat spread, this thing hits over 800 attack naturally, which is just really ridiculously high. Its speed is okay, it's serviceable, it gets the job done and gets the jump on certain Pokemon, but the main reason I have Darmanitan is to absolutely smash through walls. Now, moveset wise, you have Flare Blitz, which is super important for steel types, especially Ferrothorn, who can give my team a bit of trouble. Other steel types may not want to swap in on this, and Flare Blitz in general is quite strong. Icicle Crash is pretty powerful stab, though unfortunately not the most reliable at 90% accurate, but it is very strong when it hits. Almost anything that doesn't resist this or isn't like super defensive is going to get absolutely blown apart by this. We have U-turn to often kind of fake out a choice scarf. So if my opponent doesn't want to stand against me because they think I might be a choice scarf, I can get a powerful banded guerrilla tactics U-turn off, which is going to do a whole lot of chip as well as allow me to pivot into a Pokemon that could potentially counter their answer to Darmanitan. And finally, we have Superpower, and Superpower is really good for both the rock types in the tier, and honestly, more importantly, probably Heatran. So Heatran can obviously eat Flare Blitz with its Flame Body or Flash Fire, so it's important to be able to click Superpower and potentially catch that off guard. I do think, yes, it gets Earthquake. Personally, I like Superpower, just because oftentimes the case is that Heatran will run air balloons, so it's going to be immune to my Earthquake, it's going to be immune to my Flare Blitz. I could potentially U-turn off on it, but then I don't really have an answer to Heatran aside from Darmanitan on my team, which is why I like Superpower. Unfortunately, it does lower my attack stage, but generally speaking, once Darmanitan gets a KO, it should swap out and come back in later in the game, or honestly just sack it and pivot into a stronger Pokemon at the time. Darmanitan pretty much exists to get a KO, and that's about it. Next up we have Weavile, and I actually ran Choice Scarf Weavile, which is kind of strange. You'd often see Choice Scarf and Choice Band swapped on these, but I like the extra speed that Choice Scarf Weavile provides. With 349 speed, it outspeeds a lot of very powerful Pokemon in the tier, especially other Choice Scarfers that generally speaking can outspeed a lot. And it naturally has very high attack with 120. With Adamant Nature, it's going to be quite strong. Ability-wise, we have Pressure. Honestly, Pressure or Pickpocket doesn't make too much of a difference. I guess you could use Pickpocket in case your item's knocked off. You could potentially take that item too, but that can also indirectly nerf your knockoff. So Pressure is fine, I guess. Between Curium and Weavile, I can maybe just about like reduce a Fire Blast to 0 PP or something. Moveset-wise, we have Triple Axle, and Triple Axle is quite nice when it wants to hit, but that is of course the operative word here, when it wants to, which is very oftentimes the case. It does not hit when it needs to. It's a famously unreliable move in my opinion. A lot of moves on my team are, which is one of the big reasons I don't particularly like playing this team. But Triple Axle at max power is about 120, I think, because it's 20, 40, 60 base, if I'm not mistaken, which ends up being quite strong, especially because it is stab as well. It also goes through things like sturdy, sashes, other things like that, which are quite important. We have Knockoff. Knockoff is definitely a bit weaker in the NatDex because we do have Z Crystals and Mega Stones to worry about, which does indirectly nerf the damage of Knockoff. However, it's still quite a powerful stab and could be nice for dealing with opposing Choice Scarf users, for example. The team is a little slow outside of Weavile, so it's nice to be able to potentially knock off opposing Choice Scarfs. We have Foul Play, which is kind of a strange one. I'm kind of on the fence about this, but it's very nice against things that want to Swords Dance in my face, maybe Dragon Dance in my face. If they are like maybe +3 attack, for example, I come out in Foul Play, which can often really destroy a heavily set up Pokemon. And finally, we have Low Kick for Rock and Steel types in the tier. Otherwise, Weavile can be kind of walled out by those. It's nice for things like Tyranitar, heavier Pokemon as well, of course, take a lot of damage from Low Kick. Even opposing Weaviles don't like taking Low Kick. Bisharp, there's a list of Pokemon that Low Kick can be quite good against. Next up we have Defensive Stall Curium. So I could go for a specially attacking like Specs Curium. It is my main special attacker on the team. However, this is also my main answer to fire types and other Pokemon that take either neutral damage or resisted damage against dragons. So with Curium, we do have max HP, max special defense. Oftentimes the case, I would go for 404 HP just so my substitute can guarantee take attacks from like Seismic Chansey, Nightshade, Corsola, but I decided to go for max HP and max Spadef just so we can eat things like Blacephalon, potentially Volcarona, which both give my team a lot of trouble. We put 4 into special attack because this thing is actually quite specially offensive even without too much investment. With its moveset of Roost and Substitute, I can potentially stall things out with Substitute. Leftovers gives me nice longevity as well, especially paired with Roost. We have Freeze Drive for Water types. Water types absolutely hate swapping in against Curium because they all take at least neutral damage. Actually, sorry, at least super effective damage because it does hit water attacks super effectively. So sorry, it takes at least neutral damage. I got mixed up there. But things like Pelipper, Kingdra will take 4 by damage from Freeze Dry, which is very, very, very good against the water matchup. Next up we have Earth Power, and again it's for the Steel types, Rock types in the tier. They're 2 of my biggest opponents, and Fire types actually, come to think of it. They are 3 types that really, really struggle with, so Curium's Earth Power is quite nice for those. Next up we have Ninetales, and Ninetales is going to be my lead. It's going to try to get Aurora Veil down as early as possible, get its hail down to potentially chip down opponents, and just then swap into something like Darmanitan, even Cloister to try set up, or even Curium to start stalling. So with max HP, max speed, it's nice enough speed that I can get Aurora Veil off. It does outspeed the Keldeo, Terrakion, Virizion, Cobalion by 2 points, I believe, which is very, very important because they are big threats to my team, so it's nice to be able to outspeed those and get up Aurora Veil early. We have Encore, of course, for trapping opposing set of Pokemon, maybe into Stealth Rocks, into Spikes, maybe they're trying to set up screens themselves. I can Encore them and potentially lock them into that, again giving me more opportunity to pivot into a more offensive threat like Darmanitan or Weavile. We have Blizzard. Originally, I would use Freeze Dry, but I decided to try Blizzard because it never misses in the hail, which is quite nice. It is 110 base as opposed to Freeze Dry 70, so it's significantly stronger. And Ninetales' attack is not very good, so it's important to have a strong Ice Stab, in my opinion. Next up, we have Moonblast, and Moonblast is very good for the either Dark types in the tier, or more importantly, the Fighting types in the tier, which can be quite a trouble for me, which is why Ninetales is actually quite good due to its part Fairy typing. It does take neutral damage from Fighting, which is very, very good. So next up we have the defensive juggernaut, Avalugg. So Avalugg is absolutely crazy. With its base 184 defense and respectable 95 HP, this thing is seriously, seriously a tank. It can tank most physical attacks in the game, even things like Choice-bound Terrakion. Honestly, do not stand a chance against this thing's monstrous defense stat. This pair of the Iron Defense make this thing even stronger, and it can hit 2k defense very, very fast. Body Press allows it to use its defense as an offensive stat, which is kind of honestly crazy good, and can easily break through most Steel teams. Honestly, most teams that aren't Ghost in general can completely crumble to an Iron Defense Body Press Avalugg. Rapid Spin is very important for dealing with hazards on my team, because my team does not like Stealth Rocks, Sticky Web, Spikes, Toxic Spikes, any entry hazards at all my team really hates, so having Rapid Spin is very important. Paired with Heavy Duty Boots and Sturdy allows this thing to kind of easily get Rapid Spin off, which really helps support my team like Darmanitan Galar, Cloister, Curium, as well as just itself being able to swap in later, especially if it gets knocked off. And finally we have Recover. Oh, that should be Recover. And Recover is there for longevity. Because the thing doesn't run leftovers thanks to Heavy Duty Boots, being able to recover HP is super, super important and allows the thing to stay fighting for very, very long, especially against most physical attackers in the tier. And finally, last but not least, we do have Cloister. And Cloister is going to be a Shell Smash Cloister with Focus Sash, so it kind of doubles up as a second sturdy user essentially to Avalugg. This thing's defense is naturally quite high, though its HP and special defense are pitiful. Stat spread wise, we are max attack adamant with max speed and 4 points in special attack. The reason I put 4 points in special attack is I actually like to run Hydro Pump. I think it's nice against some rock types in the tier, some steel types in the tier as well. Hydro Pump can be quite nice. It hits Caesar decently well, not amazingly, but decently well. So if you get a Shell Smash off, this thing becomes quite fast, and Skill Link into Icicle Spear and Rock Blast become extremely scary and can easily sweep through a lot of teams, and we can guarantee live a lot of hits thanks to Focus Sash. We do have to worry about priority, and this thing is quite weak to priority, and finally I explained already why we have Hydro Pump. Unfortunately, Rock Blast and Hydro Pump they have shaky accuracy at best. A lot of my moves in the team, like Triple Axle, Icicle Crash, Rock Blast, Hydro Pump, they are kind of shaky. So hopefully the team doesn't let me down too much today, which it honestly did a lot in testing. So I don't normally actually show off my ELO prior to starting a video or starting a showcase, but I decided to do it today because I really don't think I'm going to win that much. Just to show I did put a lot of work into this ice team. I hit 1500, that's after some decay, so it's decently high on the ladder. Again, NatDex is never that hard, but it's still a decent team. Probably not my best, but it's really fun, so I wanted to give it a go. I often also worry that people think I only show the games I win, that I'm kind of like curating the content I show, but I do show almost all my matches. Some matches I don't show even if I win or lose them. They're just not that interesting. They either going for way too long or something. But I want to show you today that there's probably going to be a lot of losses and that I too do lose a lot of games, so it's important to be able to learn from those losses. Now before we do jump into some games, I want to ask you, what is your favorite ice type Pokemon? For me, I think it has to be Piloswine. I really like Mamoswine as well and Swinub. They're both very cute, but there's something about the middle stage that really appeals to me. I liked it a lot in the old generations before Mamoswine was even released in Generation 4. I just think it's very cute, little tusks, his kind of floppy hair, just a very cute Pokemon. Also very fun to use on Mono Ice, so yeah, I definitely would say Piloswine for me. So with that, let's jump into some games. We'll be right back. So we have a game here against Mono Grass, which in theory should be quite easy for me. Unfortunately, it's not so much in practice because Breloom is honestly a huge threat to my team. So we're going to open up with my Darmanitan. They have Rillaboom, interesting. I expect them to U-turn here, but let's just check. Do I die to a banded Grassy Glide? Because if I don't... Oh, I very much do. Let's go. Curium's important for Superior, I think. I guess we still have to go Curium in case they U-turn out. It gives them the least to U-turn into. So then Didi went for Grassy Glide. And that looks to be a banded damage based on how much that did, because that was very, very strong. Part of me wants to go to Darmanitan and probably Ferrothorn coming in. I could sub here. I'll Freeze Dry. Oh, interesting. Critically came in. That did a decent chunk of damage. And what I can actually do here is potentially get up my sub here. Assuming they're like Leech Seed. The grassy terrain here actually helps me a lot. Which is quite nice. Okay, we can just keep Freeze Drying here. Probably was quite risky to not sub up there in the face of potential Leech Seeds. I'll sub again. They only have 2 Stone Age PP left, and now it's completely gone. Which is quite good for me. This more or less forces them to swap out. Which is pretty good for me. They can spam recover all they want. They go into Ferrothorn. 25% is not bad. Especially because they're not leftovers. They're probably Rocky Helmet, which means I can potentially KO this too. I don't particularly mind them getting down their Stealth Rocks, because I can always Rapid Spin those away later with my Avalugg. Now the question is, do I stall out Gyro Ball? I'll just freeze right here. Okay, they go Serp. I mean, giving me Serp is very good. Do they sub or glare here? They probably glare. Either way, Curium has done so much work already. I'm a little worried about Breloom, but I think Serp was one of the bigger issues to my team. Let's Roost. Oh my god, their Drain Punch. So that crit sucks for me. But I get a free Rapid Spin here. I'm going to take Rocky Helmet Chip and Iron Barbs, which kind of sucks, but I should outspeed now thanks to my Rapid Spin, and Body Press here will KO Ferrothorn. Now, I still have to worry about Breloom. Breloom is a big threat to my team. I think I keep Ninetales healthy for Breloom. Yeah, I go Darmanitan here. I can sack Darmanitan. I don't see it being too much use. And in fact, we can get an Icicle Crash here. Even with Thick Fat and that thing being bulky, it did a decent chunk. Now's when things actually get a little bit tough for me. Does +2 Cloister KO? Venusaur. Mega? I'll call it defensive. Ooh. Assuming it's max HP, which it probably isn't, I feel like Cloister is a relatively safe bet here. As long as I keep Ninetales and Avalugg healthy, I think I can easily take care of Rillaboom and Breloom. Even one crit here would be fantastic. Oh no, that is very much defensive. Ah, that's pretty bad. Ah, it's very bad for me. I could try Triple Axle. It should KO. I don't really want to waste Ninetales because I think I need Ninetales or Breloom. Let's just see how much Weavile does. Yeah, Triple Axle is quite strong. Of course, assuming it wants to hit. Which... it did. Okay. We take those. Naturally, Breloom comes in here. I think it's going to Mach Punch. Let's go Ninetales. I think we live too. We are max defense. Ooh, that's going to be a roll. It is Life Orb, so unfortunately that makes it a roll. I have to Veil here. Okay, this is quite bad for me now. If they're Spore, which they should be. Do I swap into Weavile on the Spore? I don't think I take 2 Mach Punches. Oh, they go into Rillaboom? That's a strange play. I don't think I would have made that play. Perhaps they want to Drain Punch here. But even still, this lets me get my Iron Defense. Now, the first turn Wake is quite lucky for me. So that's his Iron Defense a bunch. I don't know if Credulity can do much against me. If they're toxic, it's bad. It's toxic. Unfortunately, I will that into being. Actually, it's not too bad, because now Breloom can't actually Spore me. Which means I might just win the game by clicking Body Press. This thing is stupidly powerful. 1500 defense. I really don't think the crit mattered there at all. So Mach Punch will do tickle damage. Even if it crit, I don't think it would have KO'd. I think they should have stayed in earlier in the game and tried Mach Punching the Avalugg to death. GG. So with that, we're going to pause and be right back. So we have a game here against Mono Water. With proper use of Curium, this matchup is doable, but can still be quite hard, especially with things like Urshifu running around. This is not an easy matchup by any stretch of the imagination. I'm going to try open Darmanitan here. I think we value keeping Curium alive as long as possible, and we're just going to U-turn. I expect them to maybe U-turn turn 1. Exactly. And this lets me thankfully gain momentum, which is very good. If they go into something like Pelipper, will they go into Pex? Okay. I go Curium here. and try and get my sub off as early as possible. So sub is very important in this matchup. I think Urshifu can easily break it, but it fears a freeze dry. Greninja can potentially break it too. Slowking comes in. No, I think because I am specially defensive, I should be able to actually eat 2 hits. Which is quite nice. Unless they're Psyshock, that'd be pretty bad for me. Do they risk their Slowking here? Because nothing on their team likes swapping into Freeze Dry. Okay, we take those. So even if they do break my sub this turn, I will take Future Sight damage, which shouldn't be too bad. Urshifu comes in, obviously we Freeze Dry this. This thing is a huge threat to my team, and we want it gone. Nice. So after the close combat defense drop, we take care of it. They say GG, but honestly, the game it's far from over yet. I need a better way to break Curium. It's hard for water. Oops, caps. I think I want to keep Curium healthy. I can sack Darmanitan. I don't see it having too much of a role in this game. Oh, they go for Ice Beam. Interesting. So will you turn on this? If they give me damage on Greninja, I'm honestly okay with that. That was a lot of damage. Part of me wants to try and set up Cloister in this thing's face. I know my special defense is pitiful, but it is 4x resisted. So I do think I should be able to tank it quite nicely. And if they take in Pelipper, getting Rock Blast on it is very good for me. I suppose Icicle Spear is actually pretty good in this position. If they go in Pex, I suppose they can Toxic/Haze me away. It's not the end of the world if they do that. As long as they have Curium healthy, I think I can definitely win the end game. Killing Pelipper is very good for me just because it lets me get up my Aurora Veil with great ease. Okay, Pex comes out as expected. We'll Rock Blast here. If they Haze, I can always swap into Darmanitan afterwards. That's doing decent enough damage. They Toxic. Unfortunately, they can probably wall me out here. I'm going to risk a Shell Smash in case they go for recovery here. They Haze. Great play. Very good play. I think this position, I sacked Darmanitan. Unfortunately, I'm not Earthquake. We'll Crash. That does a lot of damage for resisted move. Now, this thing is very, very scary for my team. Thankfully, we have Sub-Curium, which is super important in this position. Perfect. Giving me Pelipper is honestly just what I want. So I can set up my Ninetales Aurora Veil. Naturally, they're probably going to go into Swampert here, but that also takes 4x damage from Freeze Dry. Freeze Dry is such an insane move against water. I absolutely love it. Like, I don't think there's many non-ice types that get Freeze Dry, if any, which I suppose is a small bit of leeway for ice types, but even still, I wish they had somewhat more of an identity still. So even without that crit, I'm pretty sure Swampert would have broken through. Honestly, there's no reason for me to risk my Curium here against Greninja. I'll go Ninetales. Oh, very good play with the Gunk Shot. I'm very surprised it didn't KO straight out. Great play on my opponent's part. I think all I want to do is take something in and sack it against Toxapex so I can get in Curium later. So let's go Cloister here. We'll just Shell Smash. And the reason I actually like Shell Smash here is because it forces them to either haze or recover. The Toxic will eventually chip me down, and then I can simply get in Curium. And I knew the Hail was going to KO Greninja this turn. I mean, technically I could crit this. Crit one of these Rock Blasts. I swear when I was practicing, or like trying the team out, my Rock Blasts were not cooperating. All of a sudden they are. Okay, that's called. Which KOs me. And simply here, we get in Curium. Click sub first. I'm not going to risk Freeze Dry or Earth Power KO in here. I have to set up a sub first. There's absolutely no reason for me not to. Because if they Toxic, technically, they probably could stall me out indefinitely. But I have way more Freeze Dry PP than they have Recover. Even if I didn't, I have like 16 chances to lower their special defense with Earth Power, which is reliable enough. And with that, we're going to pause and be right back once I hit this Freeze Dry. I do recognize Silver Willow 89. They're a very strong water player. I see them a lot on the NatDex, so it's cool to fight familiar faces. So shout out if you're watching this video. You're a great player. GG. And with that, let's pause and be right back. So we have a game here against Mono Normal. Now, this is going to be a threatening looking team. Things like Lopunny are very scary for my team. Honestly, Chansey is kind of hard to break too, so I'm not particularly looking forward to dealing with that. Slacking is interesting. I think it can afford me a lot of chances to set up, and the fact they don't run Ditto is quite good for me. I think open Ninetales in case they open up with Lopunny. They go Chansey. We'll Veil here. This pretty much lets me live Avalugg with anything, even something like Lopunny. So I believe Lopunny. So I believe Lopunny 2 it KOs Avalugg. So it's kind of important to have that Veil up, or have it in an Iron Defense first. We Superpower here. I'm pretty sure it just straight up gets a KO. Even if they have Sashes, Hail should break it. Yeah, that just straight up KOs. It's so strong. Now, if they go something like Lopunny, okay. We can go into Avalugg here. Thanks to Truant as well, they are pretty much useless here, and I can spin away. Now, if I was really smart, I probably would have tried to Body Press, KOing whenever it came in, but I do also value getting rid of rocks. So Curium should live this. We are especially defensive. Especially since they overheated. That's doing no kind of damage. I'm going to risk Darmanitan again. As exactly I expected Chansey. And let's just click Superpower here and claim another KO. Do what Darmanitan does best. Okay, I was worried that would live, but this is Choice Band. That's like 800 attack or something. Same story here. We can always go Avalugg. Now, Lopunny is dangerous. I'm not going to lie. Ooh, that did a lot, actually. We recover. Okay. Let's go Curium again on Lisk. I think as long as I have Avalugg alive and healthy for Lopunny, we should win the game. I have an amazing reason to be destroyed. This team is bad. I mean, I wouldn't call it bad, but you should try Ditto. Very strong. So I would really suggest Ditto to absolutely any Mono Normal team. It's so crazy strong. Okay, this is the thing I have to be careful of. Thankfully we don't flinch, and Fake Out doesn't break my sub. So if they're close combat... Okay, they return. Great play. I think I keep Curium alive. I guess I sack Ninetales. I don't see myself getting Veil up, especially when I'm paralyzed. I also don't think it's that important. As I said, no Veil. But if they go into Lopunny here, it lets me take an Avalugg. Or honestly, in this position, even Weavile. Okay, we'll go Avalugg here. We're going to recover turn 1. Oh, they go straight to Explode. Great play. Excellent play on my opponent's part. I think we stacked our Marathon. I was debating sacking Cloister, but I feel like Cloister still has some role. Like right now, I can Shell Smash up and just KO something. Crisp Blast landed. Miracles really happen. Okay, so here they're going to click Fake Out, and that's okay. We can sack our Cloister in this position. Because now we can get in Weavile. And our Choice Scarf knockoff. Honestly, Choice Scarf low kick is really powerful here. That is strong. Very strong. Actually, so is there Sucker Punch? I feel like Avalugg and Curium should wall these last 2 Pokemon out quite nicely. I half expected a Volt Switch there, which would have been a scary play. Let's Roost once. I can stall this out, so let's sub here. Because their Hyper Voice is going to go through my sub, a crit shouldn't KO me. And we already know how this interaction goes. Oh, nice. Nice play. So I probably should have Earth Powered there. It's fine. I think either way, Weavile wins the endgame, as long as I don't get faked out by Lopunny too many times. Yeah, so that should be game. GG. That was actually, very well played. The Lopunny was putting a lot of pressure on me. Thankfully, with Exploud and Helios gone, my Avalugg was very strong in the endgame. So with that, we're going to pause and be right back. So we have a game here against Mono Fire. Now the fact they don't have Volcarona is definitely beneficial for me. They do still have some with Ninetales, which is kind of scary. I feel like Curium and Cloister are going to be my MVPs here. Let's open up Curium. I expect them to probably open up Ninetales. Cinderace and depending on the Zard it is are going to be scary. I think I'd honestly rather it be Zard Y, because Zard X after some Dragon Dances looks like it's going to completely sweep my team. I definitely want to get Veil up. I value Curium so much in this game, I don't want it to lose early on. So in a strange twist of fate, my opponent ends up disconnecting and not coming back, which is strange considering the fact this is a really, really winnable matchup for Fire. So with that, I guess we take those, and we're going to pause and be right back. So we have another game here against Mono Water. Again, I think Curium is very strong in this game. I need Ninetales to set up Veil as well, especially against things like Urshifu. Swampert can be surprisingly dangerous as well as Feeny. Let's open Darmanitan. I feel like it doesn't have a huge role in this game, and we can try U-turn turn 1. Oh, they're physical Rock Slide. We still get the U-turn off, which does tons of damage, which is very, very good for us. Are they Choice Scarf? I'll go Ninetales and try and chip them with Hail. Okay, I was hoping it might do 7%. I think it depends on their IVs, but obviously they're IV'd properly. Part of me wants to try set up Veil, but they might go into Pelipper here, so... I guess they're Scarf. Let's go Avalugg here. It's the safe middle ground, I think. Okay, I could have set up Veil there in the end, but it's a good thing I didn't try to. Now, I expect Toxic to come out, so Darmanitan's a safe enough play. As it's called, that's fine with me, as long as I can get up a sub with Curium. I'm in a pretty good position here where I can simply just click Freeze Dry over and over again. Ooh, they toxic spikes. That's pretty bad for me. As long as I keep my Avalok healthy, it should be okay. And again, we just freeze dry over and over again. With the damage it's doing, we can either stall out their recovers or try and go for an Earth Power Spadef drop. As they go to Feeny this turn. That's bad for me. Especially if they're Calm Mind. Actually, if they're Calm Mind, it's very bad for me. We'll just freeze dry here again. It's doing decent damage. Now, I do value Curium being healthy, so I'm... yeah, I'm going to go Ninetales here. Now, part of me wants to try set up Veil. Oh, actually, thanks to their Misty Terrain, I don't take hazards, so I can actually try set up Veil here. That's pretty good for me. That's actually really good for me. Part of me wants to try going Cloister, but it's kind of a bad play. We'll just Moonblast. They don't seem to have terribly reliable recovery. This thing is kind of dangerous for me. I guess I'll just keep Moonblasting. Okay, they go to Pex. What can Pex really do against me? Maybe they can try Toxic me. We'll go Avalok and try spin away their hazards. If they are Toxic, it's pretty bad. I guess the Scald Burn isn't ideal, but it's not the worst. All I really need it for is to be able to tank things like Urshifu later in the game. So in the end, this is all about just trying to get in Curium over and over again. We can always go Ninetales on Pelipper. Try to remove the rain. Even if they U-turn here, I don't think there's anything they can necessarily go into. Because assuming they're not toxic, we can try get our sub up again here with Curium. Perfect. So that's kind of the position I want to be in. Especially because Feeny can't swap in as easily anymore. Especially now if I just choose to spam Freeze Dry. I have 29 PP, and honestly, it's going to KO pretty much anything swappy in on it. So I'm relatively comfortable just spamming that. They also can't PP stall me, which is great in the position I'm in. So Feeny comes in. We're just going to click Freeze Dry again. And thanks to their Misty Terrain, I can actually get a free swap in on their Toxic Spikes, which is ridiculously good for me. Now the question is, what do I sack? Not Curium. I think Curium is too important. I think Weavile. I feel like Weavile is relatively expendable in this game. Especially because they're forced to close combat here, which means I can try and spin them away. Oof. That looks to be banded based on that damage. Which is fine with me, because I could get in my Ninetales. I think I'd actually rather get in Cloister here. And try and Shell Smash. So I think my end game here is I want to be behind a sub when Urshifu comes in. Which is not the easiest, but it's doable. Let's just see how much Cloister does. Only show custom sets. Cloister versus Pelipper. I'm pretty sure I've seen this a lot of times before. Okay, at +2. It looks like Rock Blast should KO. Nice. Okay, and we still have our Focus Sash, which is really good here. Because I don't fear Swampert too much. Honestly, I think I want to Shell Smash again in its face. Swampert. Yeah, I can afford to Shell Smash again, I think. Because that means I should outspeed this. Even with its rain boost. Now Icicle Spear does tons of damage. I wasn't about to risk the last roll. GG. So they ended up forfeiting. So I managed to pull that game through. I'm surprised they don't have something like Aqua Jet on Urshifu, but I suppose even then, it probably doesn't kill Cloister. In the rain with -2 though, maybe, but it does have a lot of defense. With that, we're going to pause and be right back. So we have a game here against Mono Rock, which is a pretty difficult game. Things like Diancie are very strong against my team. I do think if I manage to set up Cloister, it can do a lot of work, as can Avalugg. But Nihilego is quite dangerous too. I think we're going to open Darmanitan, as they probably open Shuckle. Okay, they actually open up Terrakion. That's pretty scary. I think I have to risk my Avalugg here, assuming it's Choice Scarfed. Okay, that looks to be Choice Scarfed. Which means here I can click Recover. If I was crazy, I can click Body Press, but I think I need my Avalugg to be max HP to be able to swap in on this again later in the game. Though this is it's quite a difficult matchup for me for sure. I guess Curium doesn't have too much use here besides maybe taking a hit from something like Diancie. Now they're probably going to Toxic, so let's go Darm here. As they Encore, okay. We'll just Banded Crash. It's not going to KO, but if it flinches, which it does, it puts me in a fantastic position right now. Banded Crash is very, very strong, and I still think I have a relatively decent time against Stakataka, again as long as my Avalugg is healthy. So Avalugg is definitely the key here. They go back into Tarak. I think I always go Avalugg again. And hope they don't crit me. Do I value Darmanitan? I guess I can come in and click Superpower on something like Tyranitar, so yeah, I can see value in it. Ooh, great double. Yeah, I think we go Curium here. As I said, I feel like Curium is relatively expendable. Especially because they go for Mystical Fire. And if I can get some chip here with Earth Power, I honestly value it so much. Now to me, this Cheetar is almost definitely... This Cheetar is surely Dragon Dance. Otherwise I don't think they would have risked it in this position, so let's go Ninetales here. Ooh, as they pursued, great play. However, this does let me get up my Aurora Veil, which is super important. It makes Avalugg even tankier, and honestly, potentially lets Darmanitan live a hit. Okay, they're leftovers. We go Avalugg, I think always, on their Trick Room. And what I'm going to do here is actually try and set up an Iron Defense. Oh, is there Iron Defense? That's quite scary for me. It's okay. -4 by effective, and I have Aurora Veil up. So I think I Iron Defense here again. Unless they crit me, I don't think their Body Press is honestly going to do much at all. I mean, this thing has monstrously out defense, but so do I. And mine is 4 times effective. Yeah, that's doing nothing. In fact, I'm actually pretty confident here if I click Body Press. It does so much. Okay. Huh. Part of me wants to try click Rapid Spin over and over again, max out my speed, and then just go crazy. We'll Iron Defense one more time. Recover once, I think. Okay, my opponent is too smart. They're not going to set up a Trick Room in my face. So unfortunately, something can come in, revenge kill me here. Namely Diancie, actually. Or potentially Nihilego as well, especially if it's Meteor Beam. So if it is Meteor Beam, I think Cloister is pretty good. I sack Curium. I feel like Curium is expendable here. Actually, with Curium being expendable, I can potentially set up Cloister in Diancie's face. Because nothing like swapping in on a +2 Icicle Spear. I think we just Earth Power again. Any chip on Tyranitar is honestly fine with me. And unless they Dragon Dance, I will be able to Revenge KO with Weavile. So this is fine. I think this is fine, because we can get Ninetales again. And simply get my Veil up. And Veil is decent in this position. Again, it lets Avalugg live things like Close Combat, Terrakion, anything Tyranitar throws my way with great ease. That is quite a fast Tyranitar, though. We'll Bloom Blast here. We live Close Combat quite easily. We'll die to a Stone Edge, but it lets me get an Avalugg afterwards quite nicely. Oh, we actually don't die to Stone Edge. That's kind of crazy strong. Now the question is, do I value Ninetales as a sack later in the game? Huh. What's Weavile's speed? Let me check. Because that determines whether or not... 349, so it does actually outspeed Terrakion anyway. Which is really good. But I feel like I get a free Avalugg in here. I'm going to recover. Just to be max HP here. It's pretty nice. And I guess now I sack Ninetales. So it's kind of a strange play, but I got a small bit of chip, and it let me have my Avalugg at max HP, which is quite nice. Now the question is, does Weavile kill this? Probably not. I mean, it's not the bulkiest, but it's not that unbulky either. Triple Axle, it is a pretty bad roll. Huh. I guess I set up Cloister here. I Shell Smash in their face. Because I feel like Weavile is still really good in the endgame. I think. So this kind of forces in Terrakion afterwards. I guess, yeah, it forces in Terrakion because the sand is not going to kill me with Tyranitar. Unless for some reason it's banded, but I'm almost certain that's Scarf damage. Banded should have done a lot more. Do I value Cloister at all in this endgame? I feel like no, I don't, because I feel like... Does Low Kick into Body Press kill Nihilego? Let's just assume it's Meteor Beam. So Triple Axle. Knockoff does a lot. Low Kick doesn't do too much. But Knockoff is not going to kill Tyranitar. And I don't particularly like relying on Triple Axle. I think I have to Low Kick here. Guarantee the KO on this. Oh, okay, I mean, we can guarantee the KO on Terrakion too. That's not too bad. We outspeed you. So we Low Kick again. And then I think I sack Darmanitan. And then Triple Axle into Body Press should KO. And I have 100% HP on Avalugg. So the recover early in the game actually came back to save me a lot here, which is quite good. So I'm not sure what build they could be to potentially live this. But I don't see Darmanitan having any use in this game since it's choice banned. I'm trying to use this time to think through. Am I throwing the game by doing this? No, because if they're Meteor Beam, they can potentially get +1 speed, so I'd have to go back into Weavile afterwards and still outspeed. And then Avalugg can KO with Body Press, so I guess it depends if they're plus special attack or plus speed after the KO on Darmanitan. So they're Meteor Beam. Oh, they're Bloom Doom. That's interesting. Okay. I mean, I'm pretty sure we lose here, or so we win here regardless, assuming my triple axle lands, which I know, big assumption. Come on, triple axle, don't let me down. 1, 2, 3. You love to see it. So triple axle actually came in clutch when I needed it the most, so thank you, Evil. No disappointment pit for you today. And with that, we're going to pause and be right back. So in the end, we actually hit number 22 on the ladder, which is kind of crazy. I did not expect to get that high as ice at all. I mean, I think I'm partially lucky that I didn't come across too many fire, steel, fighting kind of matchups. They're winnable. Steel is very, very tough, but it's winnable. So I'm definitely lucky in that regard, but overall, I still think the team performed pretty well. This team had a lot more practice than it usually does, so it definitely showed, I think, the fact it did so well. I do apologize if anyone watching looking for losses or anything, because I just didn't come across any today, and again, I'm not curating my games, it's just, I didn't end up losing, partially matchup related. But with that, overall, I was pretty happy with the team I made. The 2 sturdies definitely helps. Well, Sash and Sturdy on Avalugg and Cloister. It lets me revenge kill a lot of things that otherwise the team can struggle with. And of course, Sub, Roost, Curium, kind of lame, but very useful. And then the 2 choice users to kind of break through a lot of weaknesses. So overall, if you did enjoy, leaving a like or a comment down below really helps me out so much. The algorithm is probably the hardest matchup that I can come across, so if you want to help me beat that, definitely do leave a like or a comment if you did enjoy. With that, I will catch you next time, and take care everyone. Have a great day.